The USMHS Hope floated quietly in space. Its white hull stood out against the darkness. Large red crosses marked its sides, glowing softly. The hospital ship orbited around Proxima Centauri, the closest planet to Earth that could support life. Captain Allison Wright stood on the bridge. Through the large window, she watched the blue-green planet below. Her gray uniform was neat and clean, with a small pin showing she was once a soldier before becoming a medical ship captain. "Captain, we have 30 more patients coming up from the mining colony," said Dr. Kevin Pierce as he walked onto the bridge. His white coat had spots of blue alien blood on the sleeve. "How bad are they?" asked Allison, turning to face him. 5 critical, the rest stable. The mining tunnel collapse exposed them to some kind of gas. Their breathing is affected, but we can help them." Allison nodded. "Make sure we have enough beds ready. I'll inform Earth Command about our extended stay." The Hope was humanity's newest and largest hospital ship. Built to help any species in need, it traveled across the galaxy offering medical aid. The ship carried 300 medical staff and 200 support crew. It had 20 operating rooms, 50 intensive care units, and room for 500 patients. Lieutenant Samuel Carter entered the bridge, his face serious. As security chief, he always looked for possible threats. "Captain, sensors picked up an unknown ship at the edge of our range. It's moving strangely." Allison frowned. "Show me." On the screen, a small dot moved in an unusual pattern, coming closer then moving away, but always staying just at the edge of their sensor range. "It's been doing that for 20 minutes, Sam explained, not answering our hails. "Continue monitoring," Allison ordered. "But we don't change our mission. Those miners need us." In the main medical bay, Nurse Patricia Moore checked the vital signs of a Centauri miner. The alien's 4 eyes were closed, and its normally green skin had turned a sickly yellow. "How's he doing?" Dr. Pierce asked as he entered. "Better," Patricia answered. "The breathing treatment is working. His oxygen levels are almost normal now." Kevin nodded and moved to the next bed. The medical bay was filled with aliens of different shapes and sizes. Some had scales, others fur, and a few glowed faintly in the dim light. Each needed special care based on their unique biology. In the engine room, Jack Nelson worked on a broken scanner. The engineer wiped sweat from his forehead as he reconnected delicate wires. "Jack, we need the molecular reconstructor working in operating room 3, a voice called over the intercom. "Give me 5 minutes," he replied. "Almost done here." The ship hummed with activity as the crew worked to save lives. Humans moved quickly between stations, their bodies naturally stronger and faster than most alien species. Earth's high gravity and harsh conditions had made humans unusually tough by galactic standards. Most aliens called them Deathworlders, beings who evolved on a planet that tried to kill them daily. On the bridge, Allison received a message from Earth Command. She read it with concern growing on her face. "Lieutenant Carter," she called. "Increase security protocols. That ship you spotted. We have reports of Vorathi vessels in this sector." "Vorathi? They rarely come this far out," Sam replied, his hand moving to the weapon at his side. "Well, they're here now. The mining colony is too valuable to leave unprotected, and we can't abandon our patients." As if on cue, the unknown ship moved closer, now clearly visible on their screens. Its sharp, angular design and dark metal hull marked it as Vorathi, a species known for aggression and territorial disputes. "They're scanning us," Sam reported. "Deep scans, looking at everything." Allison straightened her uniform and took a deep breath. "Maintain our position. We're a hospital ship on a humanitarian mission. Even the Vorathi respect medical neutrality." But as the alien ship moved into orbit alongside them, its weapon ports slowly opened. "I hope you're right about that, Captain," Sam said quietly. Far away from the Hope, on a space station shaped like a wheel, Ambassador Richard Hayes stood before the Galactic Concord Council. The large round room held representatives from 32 spacefaring species. Richard was the only human present. "The Vorathi ships have no right to threaten a medical vessel," Richard said firmly. "The Hope is there to help miners injured in an accident." Supreme Commander Krex of the Vorathi rose from his seat. His hard exoskeleton clicked as he moved. His 4 arms gestured in anger. "Humans claim to offer help, but we know better," Krex said. "Your hospital ships could easily hide weapons or spies. Humans come from a death world. Everything you do is about survival and conquest." The council leader, a tall blue being named Elder Zim, raised a hand for quiet. "Ambassador Hayes, do you have proof the Hope carries only medical supplies and personnel?" Richard nodded and touched a button on his wrist device. A hologram appeared showing the Hope's complete inventory and crew list. "We hide nothing," he said. "Every medical ship follows the ancient Earth tradition of the Red Cross. They are neutral in all conflicts and serve only to heal." As the council debated, Richard's device buzzed. He looked down to see an urgent message from Earth Command. "Vorathi battle group moving toward Proxima Centauri. Hope in danger. Council must act now." Back on the Hope, Dr. Pierce worked frantically to save a young Caladian child. The small being had a body made partly of crystal. Its internal organs sparkled like gems under the operating room lights. "Nurse Moore, I need the mineral solution," Kevin said, his hand steady despite the pressure. Patricia quickly handed him a blue liquid in a special container. "This is the first time anyone has tried this procedure on a Caladian," she said quietly. Kevin nodded. "Their crystalline structure makes them unique. But at the core, all living beings share similar needs. Life wants to survive." In another part of the ship, Captain Wright received concerning news from Lieutenant Carter. "The Vorathi vessel is still scanning us," Sam reported, "and our long-range sensors show 3 more ships have entered the system. All Vorathi." Allison's face grew serious. "Have they made any demands?" "Not yet, but their weapon systems remain active." Allison touched a screen, bringing up a map of their location. "We can't run. We have 63 critical patients who can't be moved, and the colony below has limited medical facilities." Sam checked his security feeds. "My team is ready if they try to board us. But we're not a warship, Captain. We have minimal defenses." "We follow protocol," Allison said firmly. "Continue radio silence. Maintain our position and focus on our patients, but prepare for emergency protocols if needed." In the engine room, Jack received an alert on his tablet. He frowned at the readings. "This can't be right," he muttered. He called the bridge. "Captain, the Vorathi are using some kind of scanning technology I've never seen before. It's penetrating our medical systems. Several devices are showing interference." "Can you block it?" Allison asked. "Working on it. But if they keep this up, it could affect life support in the intensive care units." Meanwhile, in the council chamber, Richard Hayes fought to convince the representatives to take action. "A hospital ship should never be a target," he argued. "If the Concorde stands for anything, it must stand for the protection of those who heal." Supreme Commander Krex laughed harshly. "Humans speak of healing while their bodies are built for war. Your kind survived a planet that should have killed you. Your bones are too dense, your muscles too strong, your minds too aggressive. You are predators pretending to be healers." Richard stood tall, facing the Vorathi without fear. "We became strong because we had to. But strength can protect as well as harm. The true measure of power is how it's used." As the debate continued, a junior aide rushed to Richard with a new message. "Vorathi demand inspection of Hope. Captain Wright has agreed to allow a small team aboard. Situation critical." Richard read the message and looked up at the council with determination in his eyes. Time was running out. 6 Vorathi officers stepped from their shuttle onto the Hope's main docking bay. Their hard shells gleamed under the bright lights. Each carried a scanning device and a weapon on their hip. Captain Wright and Lieutenant Carter waited to meet them. Allison stepped forward, her face calm despite her worry. "Welcome to the USMHS Hope. I am Captain Allison Wright." The tallest Vorathi moved forward. Unlike the others, her shell had gold markings. "I am Sub-Commander Zora," she said, her voice sharp and clicking. "We will inspect your vessel for hidden weapons and military technology." Sam tensed, but Allison nodded. "Of course, we have nothing to hide. Lieutenant Carter will accompany you." Zora's 4 eyes narrowed. "We go where we wish, human." "You may," Allison said calmly, "but some areas contain contagious patients. For your safety, you need our guidance." The Vorathi team spread out, scanning walls, equipment, and even patients. Their devices beeped and flashed as they moved through the ship. In the main surgical ward, Dr. Pierce continued working on the Caladian child. The door slid open, and 2 Vorathi inspectors entered with Sam close behind. "This is a sterile environment," Kevin said without looking up. "Please keep your distance from the patient." One Vorathi moved closer, scanning the medical equipment. "What is this device?" "A molecular reconstructor," Kevin answered, his hand steady as he worked on the child's crystalline organs. "It helps rebuild damaged tissue. This patient's body is partially crystal-based." The Vorathi seemed fascinated despite himself. "We have not seen such technology." "It's new," Kevin said. "Developed specifically for non-carbon-based life forms." In another part of the ship, Sub-Commander Zara examined the pharmacy with its thousands of medicines. She scanned each section carefully. "Many of these compounds could be used to make explosives," she noted to Allison. "Many medicines have multiple uses," Allison replied, "just as a knife can heal in a doctor's hands or harm in a warrior's." Zara's head tilted. "You speak strangely for a Deathworlder." "We are more than our planet made us," Allison said. The inspection continued until they reached a sealed door marked with warning symbols. Nurse Moore stood guard outside. "This is our quarantine section," Patricia explained. "We have 8 patients with highly infectious diseases inside." Zora stepped forward. "Open it." Patricia looked worried. "I'm sorry, but we can't. The airborne pathogen's cold." "Open it now," Zora demanded, her hand moving to her weapon. Sam stepped between them. "Those diseases could kill your team, Sub-Commander. They're dangerous even to humans with our immune systems." Zara hesitated, then tapped her communication device. She spoke rapidly in her native language, then turned back to them. "My commander orders full inspection. Open it." Allison arrived, having been called by Sam. "Sub-Commander, I cannot risk your health or the contamination of this ship. If you insist on entering, you must wear full protection suits." Before Zara could answer, an alarm sounded throughout the ship. Jack's voice came over the speakers. "Captain, to the bridge immediately. Multiple Vorathi warships have surrounded us." In the docking bay, more Vorathi shuttles arrived, carrying armed soldiers instead of inspectors. On the bridge, Allison found Jack watching the main screen with fear on his face. 5 large Vorathi battleships had positioned themselves in a circle around the Hope. "They're charging weapons," Jack said. A message appeared on their communication screen. It showed the face of a Vorathi commander. "Hospital Ship Hope, this is Fleet Commander Drawn of the Vorathi Dominion. You are hereby seized for inspection and transport to Vorathi space. Power down all systems and prepare to be boarded." Allison's hands gripped the edge of her control panel. Behind her, Zara and her inspection team arrived on the bridge. "Your people would attack a hospital ship?" Allison asked, facing Zara, "with hundreds of patients from 12 different species aboard." Zara's eyes shifted away. "Orders are orders." Allison straightened her back and looked at the Vorathi commander on the screen. "This is Captain Wright. We refuse your demand. We have critical patients who will die if moved." The commander's face hardened. "Then they die. You have 10 minutes to surrender." Captain Wright looked around the bridge at her crew. Fear showed on some faces, anger on others. She made her decision. "Jack, initiate Protocol Mercy. she said quietly. The engineer's eyes widened. Are you sure, Captain? Allison nodded. Do it now. Jack pressed a series of buttons on his control panel. Throughout the massive hospital ship, lights dimmed. The gentle hum of normal operations quieted. What are you doing? Zara demanded. Protecting our patients, Allison answered. Protocol Mercy shuts down all non-essential systems to direct all power to life support and critical medical equipment. On the screen, Fleet Commander Drawn smiled. They surrender. Prepare boarding teams. Allison touched a button. This is not surrender, Commander. This is our duty to our patients. As she spoke, memories flashed through her mind. Years ago, during Earth's first alien conflict, she had commanded a warship. She remembered the destruction, the pain, the loss of life. After that war, she had sworn to use her skills to protect and save lives, not take them. In the operating room, Kevin worked quickly as the lights dimmed around him. Backup power to surgical systems, he said. Nurse Moore, we need to finish this procedure before anything else happens. Patricia nodded, handing him tools as needed. Kevin thought of his family, lost years ago to the terrible plague on Mars Colony. He had been unable to save them then. He would not fail this child now. Almost there, he whispered, carefully fusing the last crystalline organ back together. Lieutenant Carter hurried through the corridors, checking on security teams at key points throughout the ship. As a former soldier, he understood what might come next. The Vorathi would not simply take no for an answer. Secure all entrances, he ordered his teams. Non-lethal measures only. Remember, we're protectors, not killers. In the engine room, Jack opened a hidden panel behind a storage unit. Inside was a second control system, one not on any official plans of the ship. Protocol Mercy, Part 2, he said to himself as he began activating systems. The Hope had been built with a secret. While truly a hospital ship, its designers knew it would operate in dangerous space. Hidden throughout the vessel were defensive systems disguised as medical equipment. Not weapons to attack, but shields and countermeasures to protect. On the planet below, Colony Director Daniel Miller received an emergency transmission from the Hope. He gathered his staff quickly. The Vorathi are threatening our hospital ship, he told them. The same ship that saved hundreds of our people after the mine collapse. A mining engineer named Lisa stood up. What can we do? We're not soldiers. Daniel looked grim. No, but we have mining equipment. Equipment that can be repurposed. Back on the Hope, Allison faced Sub-Commander Zara directly. Your people are about to make a terrible mistake, she said. This ship carries 832 patients, including 17 of your own kind injured in an asteroid mining accident last month. Zara's eyes blinked in surprise. Vorathi patients, here. Third deck, East Wing, Allison confirmed. We treat anyone who needs help, regardless of species or politics. Before Zara could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. On the main screen, they watched as Vorathi boarding shuttles approached. Captain, Jack called from his station. I've activated all defensive shields, but they won't hold against a direct attack from those battleships. Allison took a deep breath and pressed the ship-wide communication button. Attention all crew of the USMHS Hope. This is Captain Wright. We came to this system to save lives. That mission has not changed, but sometimes saving lives means protecting them from those who would do harm. She looked directly at Zara. We are not warriors by choice, but we come from Earth, a world that tried to kill us every day. We learned to survive. We learned to fight when necessary. And there is nothing more dangerous than a healer forced to become a fighter. The first Vorathi shuttle reached the main docking bay. The battle for the Hope was about to begin. Ambassador Richard Hayes stood before the Galactic Concord Council, his face showing the urgency of the situation. I have just received word that Vorathi ships are attempting to board the Hope, he said. This is not an inspection. This is an attack on a hospital ship. Many council members muttered in alarm. Elder Zim raised a hand for quiet. Ambassador Hayes, do you have proof of these claims? Richard nodded and pressed a button on his device. The large screen in the council chamber showed a live feed from the Hope's external cameras. The Vorathi battleships were clearly visible, surrounding the hospital ship. Supreme Commander Krex stood up. This is internal Vorathi security business. Security. Richard's voice rose with anger, attacking doctors and nurses, threatening the lives of sick patients. He turned to face the entire council. I have something else to show you. The screen changed to show the inside of the Hope. It displayed patients of many different species being treated. The medical staff worked calmly despite the dimmed lights and emergency situation. This is what your security operation threatens, Richard said. If you allow this attack, you send a message that medical ships are no longer safe. Today it's a human ship. Tomorrow, it could be yours. On the Hope, Lieutenant Carter led his security team to the main docking bay. They carried shields and stun batons, but no lethal weapons. Form a line, Sam ordered. Remember, we defend, we don't attack. The docking bay door opened. 20 Vorathi soldiers stormed in, weapons raised. They wore full armor that covered their exoskeletons. Stand aside, their leader ordered, or be removed. Sam stepped forward, his shield raised. This is a hospital ship protected by Galactic Concord law. Your presence here is illegal. The Vorathi leader fired a warning shot that hit the wall behind Sam. Last chance. Sam looked at his team, nurses, doctors, engineers, all trained in basic defense but not soldiers. Yet none backed away. Hold the line, he said firmly. The Vorathi charged forward. The humans braced themselves, their shields forming a wall. When the Vorathi hit, the humans were pushed back but didn't break. Their earth-born strength, the gift of their high-gravity world, allowed them to resist the armored aliens. In the engine room, Jack worked frantically. Captain, I've got the shield modulations ready. The minute they fire on us, I can bounce the energy back. Good work, Allison replied over the comm. But we need more time. On the bridge, Allison turned to Sub-Commander Zara. Your boarding teams are meeting resistance. Call them back before someone gets hurt. Zara seemed troubled. I cannot. Orders are orders, even wrong ones. Allison asked. Look at this. She showed Zara the feed from the medical bay where Dr. Pierce was finishing his operation on the Caladian child. In another room, the Vorathi patients received care from human nurses. This is our true purpose, Allison said. Not war, not conquest. Healing. Suddenly, one of the Vorathi inspectors who had remained on the bridge collapsed. His breathing became labored, his shell turning a pale color. What's happening to him? Zara asked, alarmed. Allergic reaction to something on our ship, Allison replied, kneeling beside the fallen inspector. Nurse, we need emergency treatment here. Medical staff rushed to help. Dr. Pierce, just finished with his operation, arrived moments later. Anaphylactic shock, Kevin said, examining the Vorathi. Similar to what we see in humans. He quickly prepared a modified antihistamine and administered it. The Vorathi's breathing slowly improved. Down in the colony, Daniel Miller and his mining team had repurposed their equipment. Large drilling machines now pointed upward, their energy cores modified. Ready, Director, Lisa reported. We can generate a disruption field between the Hope and the Vorathi ships. Do it, Daniel ordered. The Hope saved my daughter. Now we save them. A shimmering energy field began to form in space, making it harder for the Vorathi to target the hospital ship. On the bridge, Jack called out, Captain, the colony is helping us. Allison smiled for the first time in hours. Send my thanks, and broadcast everything happening on this ship to all frequencies. Let the galaxy see what the Vorathi are doing. Fleet Commander Drawn's angry face appeared on screen. You have 1 minute to surrender or we open fire. The first Vorathi shot hit the Hope's shields with a bright flash. The hospital ship shook, lights flickering throughout its halls. Shields holding at 60%. Jack reported, his fingers dancing across his control panel. But they're targeting our main power systems. One more direct hit, and we lose life support in sections 3 through 7. In the medical bay, equipment beeped warnings as power fluctuated. Dr. Pierce and Nurse Moore worked quickly to keep patients stable. Manual ventilation for anyone on breathing support, Kevin ordered. Backup battery packs for all critical monitors. Patricia nodded, already moving to help a Centauri patient whose breathing machine had stopped. She pumped a manual airbag, using her own strength to keep the alien alive. Around them, other medical staff did the same. Doctors performed procedures by emergency lighting. Nurses counted medication drops without electronic help. They adapted to each crisis with the resourcefulness that had helped humans survive on Earth. On the bridge, Captain Wright watched as another Vorathi shot hit their shields. 40% shield strength. Jack called out, "Captain, we can't take much more of this." Allison turned to Sub-Commander Zara, who watched with growing distress. "Your people are attacking patients who cannot defend themselves. Is this the honor of the Vorathi?" Before Zara could answer, a message came through from the docking bay. Lieutenant Carter's voice sounded strained. "Captain, we can't hold them much longer. There are too many." They'd broken through in 2 places. Allison made a quick decision. Fall back to emergency positions. Protect the patients at all costs. She turned to Jack. "It's time for the final stage of Protocol Mercy." Jack looked worried, but nodded. "Yes, Captain." He opened a hidden compartment and entered a series of codes. "Ready when you are." In the Galactic Concord Council chamber, the members watched the attack with horror. Several representatives were now openly supporting Ambassador Hayes. "This violation cannot stand," said the Pellerin delegate, a tall insect-like being. "Hospital ships are sacred across all civilizations." Elder Zim turned to Supreme Commander Krex. "Call off this attack immediately, or the Concord will consider it an act of war against all our peoples." Krex's shell clicked in anger. "You side with the humans. They are dangerous." "Yes," Richard said quietly. "We can be dangerous. But right now, you're seeing the best of humanity. People who will risk everything to save lives, even your lives." On the Hope, Captain Wright addressed Fleet Commander Drawn directly. "This is your final warning," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Withdraw your ships and boarding parties now." Drawn laughed. "You are in no position to make demands, human." "I'm not making demands. I'm giving you a chance to save your people." Allison nodded to Jack. He pressed the final sequence. Throughout the Hope, hidden emitters activated. A carefully calibrated electromagnetic pulse spread out from the ship, targeting only the specialized systems of the Vorathi vessels. On the Vorathi ships, screens went dark. Weapons powered down. Communication systems failed. "What have you done?" Zara asked, watching as her people's ships drifted, temporarily disabled. "A defensive measure designed to protect, not destroy." Allison explained. "Your ships will regain power in 20 minutes, enough time for you to reconsider your actions." The Vorathi boarding parties found their armor systems failing, their weapons useless. Lieutenant Carter's team quickly contained them. Dr. Pierce continued working on patients even as the battle raged. The Caladian child opened its crystalline eyes, now healed. Kevin smiled despite his exhaustion. "Welcome back, little one," he said softly. In the colony below, Daniel and his team cheered as they saw the Vorathi ships go dark. "They did it," Lisa shouted. Daniel shook his head in wonder. "These humans, they could have destroyed those ships. Instead, they just disabled them." Suddenly, new ships appeared at the edge of the system. Everyone tensed, expecting more enemies. Jack's eyes widened as he checked the readings. "Captain, those are Concord peacekeeping ships, and vessels from 6 other species." On the screen, a new message appeared. A Pellerin commander spoke clearly. "USMHS Hope. This is Commander Trill of the Concord. We have come to enforce medical neutrality laws. The Vorathi attack on your vessel has been condemned by the full council. Allison let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Help had arrived. Fleet Commander Dron's ship slowly regained power. He faced a choice. Fight not just humans, but the entire Galactic Concord, or withdraw. For a long moment, the space around Proxima Centauri B was silent. The disabled Vorathi ships faced the newly arrived Concord fleet. Between them floated the Hope, its red crosses still glowing against its white hull. On the Hope's bridge, Captain Wright opened a channel to all ships. This is Captain Allison Wright of the USMHS Hope. We are a hospital ship with over 800 patients aboard. We mean no harm to anyone. We ask only to be allowed to continue our medical mission. Fleet Commander Dron's face appeared on the screen, anger clear in his eyes. This is not over, human. Actually, it is, replied Commander Trill of the Concord. By order of the Galactic Concord Council, all Vorathi ships must withdraw from this system immediately. Dron's ship powered its engines. Slowly, the Vorathi fleet began to move away. Sub-Commander Zora watched from the Hope's bridge, conflicted emotions visible on her face. Captain Wright, she said finally, I request permission to stay aboard with our injured soldiers and citizens. I will take responsibility for their care. Allison nodded. Permission granted. Dr. Pierce will show you to your people. Throughout the ship, the crew began recovery operations. Lieutenant Carter supervised as Vorathi boarding parties returned to their shuttles, now without their weapons. Next time, try knocking first, Sam said to the last Vorathi soldier, who hissed but said nothing. In the main medical bay, Kevin checked on his patients. The Caladian child sat up in bed, its crystalline body now glowing with renewed health. How do you feel? Kevin asked. The child made a tinkling sound like small bells. The translator converted it. Better. You fixed what was broken inside me. Why would your ship be attacked for doing such things? Kevin smiled sadly. Fear sometimes makes people do wrong things, but it doesn't stop us from doing right. Patricia entered with news. The power systems are back to normal. All patients are stable. In the engine room, Jack worked with his team to repair damaged systems. A young engineer named Ben brought him a report. How bad is it? Jack asked. Actually, not terrible, Ben replied. The shields took most of the damage. Life support is fully restored. We can be completely operational again in about 12 hours. Jack laughed in relief. We built her strong. On the planet below, Daniel Miller prepared a supply ship. The colony was sending fresh medical supplies and food to the Hope. Add this, Lisa said, handing him a small container. It held local flowers that changed color when touched. For the people who saved us. In the Concord Council chamber, Ambassador Hayes received congratulations from many representatives. Even some who had been wary of humans now looked at them differently. Elder Zim approached Richard. Your people showed remarkable restraint today. You could have destroyed those ships, yet you chose to disable them temporarily. Richard nodded. That's the true strength of humanity. Not our ability to survive a harsh world, but what we chose to do with that strength. Back on the Hope, Captain Wright sat in her quiet office. The crisis was over. The ship was safe. Most importantly, not a single patient had been lost during the attack. A soft knock came at her door. It was the Caladian child, walking slowly with Dr. Pierce's help. Captain, Kevin said, our young friend wanted to thank you personally. The child held out a small crystal that had fallen from its body during the operation. In Caladian culture, such crystals were precious gifts. On my world, the child said, we believe that light shines brightest when darkness is all around. Your people shined very bright today. Allison accepted the crystal with a smile. Thank you. We'll continue to shine for anyone who needs help. Later, on the bridge, Allison received a new message from Earth Command. More hospital ships were being sent to other systems. The Hope's story had spread throughout the galaxy. "It seems we've started something," Allison told her officers. "The Concord is establishing new rules to protect medical vessels of all species." Sam grinned. "So we won after all." "No," Allison replied, looking at the stars through the view screen. "Nobody won a battle today, but perhaps everyone won something more important." As the Hope prepared to leave orbit, now escorted by Concord ships, its mission continued. The humans from Earth, once feared as dangerous Deathworlders, had shown the galaxy another truth. Sometimes the strongest hands are those that heal.